Happy 1st of September, guys. It is officially autumn come spooky season and I am fully here for it. As a result, this is a bit of a bonus video this week because it is a Homesense haul. I know. Everybody on the internet has done this like a month ago, but as it's the 1st of September, I think it is now officially socially acceptable to share that kind of content and not a moment sooner. And therefore, I just could not bring myself to go to Homesense any sooner than I have, which was this week. And because I've gone this week and I have picked up a few items that I wanted to share with you today, I wanted to make sure that I got this video up as quickly as possible because, as you may or may not know, things go from Homesense as quick as they come in, and if you have a hope in hell of picking any of these things up this weekend, then I needed to show it ASAP. I also, this is a PSA, not a PSL, a PSA, that I think, or I predict that this weekend is probably going to be the last great autumn meets Halloween shop from Homesense. When I went on Monday, there was actually quite a lot still there, and there was quite a lot still there when I left on Monday as well, but I can't foresee that lasting for much longer. As it is autumn content, I have my iced pumpkin spice latte, as I said, which I always have it iced. I personally think it's the best way to drink it. If you haven't tried it, you really must. And I have kind of small tumble candles going. I don't think you can quite see them. I've framed this all wrong, but yeah, I do have some autumn candles going, and I'm in a jumper, and we are just gonna bypass the fact that it is August. It is 20-something degrees. It is all about illusions here on YouTube and the internet. If you are new here, hi, my name's Louisa, and I share videos from my Victorian home here, the Bluestone Villa, all around kind of our renovations, interiors, and essentially kind of romanticizing your home life, because deep down, as much as I enjoy, you know, going out and traveling and all of that jazz, I am a homebody at heart. So let's get into my Homesense haul, and this is kind of an autumn meets Halloween haul. So the first item I'm actually going to show you is not an autumn, fall, or Halloween item. No, this isn't clickbait. I haven't tricked you, but I want to share everything that I bought at Homesense. And therefore, the first thing I bought actually were these beautiful cushions. I think I do love these. These are a really kind of traditional English interiors vibe. I love it, kind of very kind of like period property. I'll just put it up to the camera a little bit closer so you can kind of see. And I feel like they look quite expensive, to be fair, as well. These I bought actually for in here in the living room, because I am going to be completely honest and tell you I don't think I love any of the cushions in my living room. In fact, there's a lot about my living room I don't know if I love. I think at the moment, well, it's unfinished, first of all, much like everything in this house, but it's also kind of very mid-century modern vibes, and that kind of wasn't necessarily intentional. It just kind of has happened that way. I think for me, I'm really wanting to create more of that kind of period property, traditional English interiors vibe, and that definitely is not what's happening right now, and I'm not really sure how I get to that either. I think there's going to be a lot of kind of changing of things and reconfiguring and what have you, but yeah, I don't know what that looks like or what that timeline is, but I thought this was possibly a great start. Now, I bought this because, as I said, it kind of is along those vibes that I'm already looking for, and I don't love our current cushions. They were kind of all bought on a whim, also like this pair of cushions. But I'm also not fully convinced that I'm going to keep them either. So let me know what you think down in the comments box, because I do have 28 days to take these back. So I've still got time to refund these if I decide actually this is not the vibe I'm going for. These were £20 a pop, which I think is really reasonable. But this is like total mind muddle. This, you know, there is no rhyme nor reason as to why I think this, but just because they were in Homesense, I feel like they should be like £15 each. So I also have a bit of a mental block around that as well. So I'm like, is this too much money for Homesense? I don't know. I'm being ridiculous, I realise. So next up, I'm going to share a couple of items I actually purchased for my mum's home. So I was my mum and dad's, you know, personal shopper in Homesense this week, because they don't have one close to them. So I was like going around taking pictures of things that I thought were nice or that they would like, and as a result I've picked up a couple of things for them. Firstly, I will share also my kind of like non-autumn item, although it is a very kind of like cozy, wintry kind of seasonal item, which is this skiing blanket. So it's got these different skiers on it. It's kind of like a maroony burgundy kind of color, but it's actually, what is the word? Transferable? You know when it's like you can have either side? I can't think what it's called. But it's also grey then with the same skiers on in kind of a maroony colour as well. I got this for them because they actually have a house in Vermont in the States, which is really well known for its ski season. They rent it out to people coming to ski there and what have you, and so I just thought this might work there. It was £20 or $19.99 if I was to be precise. And yeah, it's really fleecy, it's really soft. I actually had looked at it for us first of all, but quite honestly the colours just don't really work at our house, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm not in love with the colours. I think this is definitely the better side, but yeah, for my mum and dad's house, it's a perfect little like staging something for when they have renters. Next up, we got this cushion, which I just knew my mum would love. So this is definitely kind of more of the Halloween vibe. My pumpkin spice latte is kind of in the way. This is definitely more of like the Halloween vibes. I would say that Homesense is probably like 80% Halloween and 20% autumn, and don't come for me, but I find a lot of the like the general autumn stuff kind of tacky. I'm sorry. I just do. For me anyway, and that's just my opinion. I think you kind of, it's like a diamond in the rough situation. I mean, maybe that is Homesense in general, and I have picked up the odd thing autumnal focus from them in the past, but I did struggle this time. I think a lot of kind of the stuff I end up picking up in Homesense is more kind of Halloween focused. But yeah, we love this. It says, "You say I'm a witch like it's a bad thing," because my mum always jokes that she's a witch because she like knows when things are going to happen and stuff like that. So yeah, we just thought that was really, really funny, and it just made my mum chuckle. And yeah, so she's looking forward to putting that on her sofa. She's got quite a neutral aesthetic in her living room, so this is going to work really nicely. And this was, believe it or not, $19.99. Could you have a bigger tag? Next up for my mum is a gorgeous plate. So again, Homesense had a lot of kind of Halloween inspired. This is really very irritating, isn't it? Let's move this completely out of shot. Homesense had a lot of kind of dishes and serving dishes and what have you that were kind of definitely, again, kind of like Halloween inspired. And my mum had actually asked me to look out specifically for kind of like tableware stuff. I would say this is kind of probably the most tasteful dining stuff that I saw in Homesense today. She says this, I've got a whole other set that I bought for me, but I'll explain when I get there. But yeah, I thought this was the most tasteful. It's pumpkins, and I'm going to move it a little bit closer because it's kind of got like a bit of a speckled effect to it as well. This came in lots of different sizes, so they had like a bigger version of this one. They had a big bowl, which I've got a big bowl in a different scheme that I'll share a bit later, so you can kind of see what the size of the bowl was like. And I think they might have had another size bowl as well. This particular plate was $9.99. I think the bigger version was $14.99. I thought all really, really reasonable. This is just really nice. You could have this possibly on your dining table or what have you with, I don't know, some other kind of display, something on it, but equally could be used for like serving bread up. I think my mum was talking about for like when they have people over the next couple of months. I really liked it. I think in a way I liked this more maybe than what I've got. I think this is a more sensible purchase if you're looking for all-round autumn stuff, because I personally think that all-round autumn stuff can be used like September, October and November, whereas if you're going to get kind of some more Halloween twisty stuff, I mean, this is me anyway, I think then you kind of October is it. And probably some people in the UK will think really only like 1 or 2 weeks, but I mean I stretch it out the whole of October. But yeah, I thought these were really, really lovely. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be sharing it with you. So next up, let's move on to what I bought for us here at the Bluestone Villa. Sorry, pumpkin spice latte break. So, where do I start? Where do I begin? I mean, obviously you saw my cushions already. So, I'm gonna first share a gift that I bought. They had a lot of these kind of pillowcases. They were very, very kiddie, very, very fun kind of kiddie ones. This was the most kind of, I would say, like smartest ones I saw. So these are just 2 pillowcases. They've got moon on it, bats, a witch's hat, lots of like stars and shooting stars, and just to flip it over, they also have like a sun motif. It very much reminds me of that like 90s sun and moon motif, but then with a bit of a Halloween twist. And I thought these were kind of smart actually. These were just $4.99 for 2 pillowcases, and I thought a really great way to like jazz up your bed set or your kids' bed set if you're wanting to kind of get a bit Halloweeny. I actually bought these as a gift for my little niece. So Holly, if you're watching this, press pause right now so Lily doesn't see. But essentially, I thought this would be a really, really nice little twist. Lily loves witches. I thought, again, it's quite tasteful, and you can just sling this on with your other bedding stuff. I might actually just, I'm gonna open it up so you can see fully, just because the plastic is a bit shiny. But oh, I'm gonna regret this. This is gonna be one of those things where you wish you'd never taken something out. Okay, I'm just gonna maybe just do that so you can see. I'm scared to take it out any further because it's going to be one of those things where you get it out and then you can never get it back in again. But yeah, that's it. And I thought for $4.99, 2 pillowcases, quite nice. They'll last for ages as well, you know, because they're quite a grown-up Halloween set, I felt, whereas everything else was quite kiddie, but I really liked that. I love hosting. I love setting my table beautifully. I love kind of theming my table by season. So shock horror, the rest of this is tableware. So first of all, I picked up these. Now, I actually saw somebody else share these, Toby's Home. If you don't follow him, he's got a beautiful home. I've followed him on Instagram since the beginning of time. And he now has a YouTube channel as well. So I will link that below if you are interested in catching up on some of his videos. But I think he shared these as well, actually, from memory on his. I really liked these because they've got like this browny orangey kind of, oh, let me start again. These are napkins, if you didn't get the memo. And they're kind of a very kind of like muted, natural kind of, almost look like a Hessian colour. But are they linen? I'm not sure. What are they? No, they're cotton, but they've got that kind of linen-y effect. Then they've got this kind of, it looks definitely more orangey on here. It is a bit brownier in real life, but this kind of orangey browny kind of cotton threading. I think they look really, really rustic. I think they look very simple, and I think they will really offset an autumn tablescape beautifully. There are 12 of them. I did not need 12. 8, I would have settled with 8, but there are 12, and as a result they were $14.99. And yeah, I'm gonna maybe try and do a bit of a tablescape at some point. I did one last year. I will link that here if you didn't see that. But yeah, maybe I'll try and do a new tablescape this year and use some of this new stuff that I've got. Then we move into my kind of actual like dishes tableware, and I bought actually 3 items, all part of the same collection. And as I said, a lot of what Homesense does is very, very kind of Halloween-esque. And I have kind of 2 phases in my home. I have the more kind of grown-up autumnal fall aesthetic with just some simple small touches that I will do that is, you know, not kind of obviously like garish stuff. And then I do have the period of time where I will decorate for Halloween because I love it, and I've been collecting decorations for Halloween for over 20 years now. So for me, it's just like something I get a little bit excited about. So I do go down the kind of like traditional orange kind of route for that side of things. So I typically do kind of like my simple aesthetic across September. I move into kind of my Halloween vibes across October, and then in November I kind of revert back to kind of my simple, more sophisticated autumnal decorations and what have you. I love these next things I'm about to show you, but there is a small part of me that maybe has a little bit of buyer's remorse. And if James is watching this right now, he will be like, I told you so. Because these are very much of a time. I can only really use these in October, and so part of me does wonder whether I would have been better off buying something like my mum's pumpkin dishes. But nonetheless, we are where we are. So I bought this collection of dishes, which I really, really love because they look like they're hand painted. I doubt they are. Oh no, they are. made in Portugal, and they are freezer and dishwasher safe, and they are hand painted. And I just think they're beautiful because they obviously are Halloween focused, but I think in quite a tasteful way. I'll just put it up closer. So I love it because it's this kind of witch's washing line, and she's hanging up her stockings and her cauldron. Is that her cauldron? I think it is her cauldron. It looks like a handbag, but I think maybe it's meant to be a very small cauldron. Her hat, her broom, her dress, and then a ghost on the end. And yeah, I just think this is lovely. This particular dish is $9.99. It's a slightly different shape to my mum's pumpkin one, but probably a similar size, hence the price. I then also bought the larger version. This now is very much similar to kind of my mum's plate, but the larger version. And if you were going to go with the pumpkin larger version, this is kind of the shape and size that was as well. Again, it's the same motif. This one was $14.99, as was the larger pumpkin version as well. And then the final element I got that matched that whole set also was this, which is this large bowl, which, as I said, the pumpkin version came in as well. I think there may have been one other kind of big bowl dish, but slightly different shape, maybe shallower. Yeah, I think maybe a shallower version. I didn't feel like I needed that one as well. I think probably, James probably thinks this is excessive. In fact, I'm probably thinking this is a little bit excessive. Yeah, and I just really love this motif. So it's just on one side, the other side is completely plain. And this one was also $14.99, as was the big bowl version of the pumpkins as well. And I just thought this would be really, really lovely to, if you're hosting dinner over kind of October with, well, maybe people would think you're crazy, but I mean, I would love it. I think it's really, really cute. I think, you know, if James and I tend to have a lot of roast dinners kind of from September onwards on a Sunday. That's like really one of the things that we love to do. And so I kind of imagine like dishing some of our roast dinner up in some of these things. I also thought this would be absolutely fab for having popcorn in if you're watching these scary movies over the season, or particularly if you're planning to kind of binge watch both the original Hocus Pocus and the new one that is being released at the end of this month. And that is it. A small but perfectly formed Homesense haul, I believe. I hope you enjoyed today's video and seeing what I have been picking up. Let me know what you think about the cushions and whether you think I should keep my tableware set. I do love them both, but I just don't know if I'm being a bit excessive. Let me know. Am I being excessive, guys? I have a very special video coming up later this week, which is also Homesense focused, because I am going to be reviewing their entire autumn candle collection. So if you're into home fragrance and you want to know exactly what to buy and exactly what not to buy from a candle perspective in Homesense, then make sure that you're subscribed and hit the bell notification so that you can get informed when that video goes live. But thank you so much for joining me in my faux cozy autumnal setup. I'm probably gonna go and change now because I'm really, really warm, and I'm gonna finish my pumpkin spice latte, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, guys.